Okay, I'm running at a full 9 there now after 3, but there's not very much orange in the orange. It's not reddish. It should be a little more reddish than that 10. So I know that I'm probably good for 3 more drops because I brought it up about half in that case. I'm probably going to start seeing very shortly a little bit of white coagulant as the M state starts to get... Oh, I just dropped in 2 drops there. So you got to be careful of that, see? I'm already starting to see the M state show up there. Now this here, we're getting close. We're just starting to see just a few little orange dots in there. A couple more drops. But the M state is already coming out. Okay, so now we're going to look in here. And you can actually start to see the M state drop out. I'm going to try to see if I can show you here by using this flashlight. You can actually start to see the M state drop out. Now, we're running at 10.5, I would say, right now. What I like to do is that I don't want the pH to drop too much. So I'm just going to use my fresh strip. But I probably could get away with 1 strip right now, but I would like to just make sure my pH is staying up there. So I'm going to do a quick pH test with a fresh strip. And that's right on 10. And you can see now it's dropped, the reddish has dropped out a little bit, the pH has come down. So I'm going to add 1 more drop to this before I put it away. This is the fine line here. Sometimes you don't know if you want to push it into 11 or not. To me, this is looking just a little light. I may go 1 more drop. I'd probably be okay if I just left it. There we go. And that's the last. I don't want to tamper with it anymore after that. Okay? So at this point, we're going to set that into the jar. I usually take my time and use a funnel for this just in case, because it's easy to make a mess. Okay. These things here later on, I'll show you what to do with those. The M state's dropping out of the water. I know it's probably hard to see, and I'll see if I can get some light on here to backlight the situation. Of course, on top, you can already start to see the M state settle on the bottom now. It's a fine little white powder. It has to be 4 hours at least. I probably will leave this overnight until tomorrow. This M state will be ready for probably 2 days from now. I could do a batch, leave it 4 hours, rinse it. I could probably have a batch as ready within 18 hours if I was in a hurry. This is going to be a very good batch. I got everything perfect on this one. That's all for now. I also want to mention, what do you do with the things that you just used? Well, I take a few steps and I want to bring the pH back down again. Okay, so my Ormus now has been settling for about 10 hours. And what had actually happened is I have precipitate on the bottom, as you can see. There's the precipitate on the bottom. And there's more precipitate that's falling. It was sort of floating at the very top. But as you can see, look from the very top, there's still more Ormus there on the top. Okay, so now I've separated the top precipitate. It's no longer on the top. And I've moved it into here, and I'm going to see whether it settles out to the bottom or the top. If it floats, and I'll just skim it off and consume it. We'll leave it there temporarily in a glass jar. And over here, as you can see, some of that Ormus is coming back to the top. I'll probably skim that off in a minute as well. And it's settling out again. So probably about an hour from now, I'll be able to come back to this and fix it up. Okay, that's pretty well settled out there now. It's only actually been about 15 or 20 minutes since the last time that I checked on it. And it gives you a good idea of how the Ormus is concentrated on the bottom. We've got a nice little batch there. Now, technically, what we could do is move this Ormus into another container when we drain it out, this water, and we could apply the pH balance process again. And we could probably get even more Ormus out of that water if we wanted to. Now, I find it's kind of a waste of my time, but considering the cost of the salt, but you know, and the pH sticks and stuff like that, I'd just rather start with a new fresh batch of salt. Okay, this gives you a quick idea. As you can see, you just got to be a little careful. You put your your plunger in there and you take your precipitate out, and then what I find is that sometimes I'll take a little angle like this here. Now we've got a little bit right here that is actually some pieces we can scoop up and move over to our floating bowl. And the goal here is to get as low into the water as possible without disturbing the sediment on the bottom. Now you can actually see there's still Ormus particles coming up in that water. Okay, and I may have to do one more clearing on this with a couple drops because I don't really want to throw that Ormus away. Okay, so now I'm sort of done getting rid of my extra precipitate. So as you can see, I'm down to this amount right now in my glass jar. Now, I'm not going to take it any lower than this at this point because I'm just going to be washing it with distilled water and adding some more distilled water. And over here you can see the stuff that was floating on top. It's settled already. It's only been a few minutes. Now I'll probably put some distilled water in that and just give it a quick rinse down. Bring it down again. I'll probably drink that today. So what we'll do is I'll get right back to you. Okay, so now I've added my distilled water, and I added some distilled water over here, and that'll probably only settle within 15-20 minutes, and I'll come back and show you that, and that's today's dose that I'm going to be taking. Back over here to the stuff that was floating. As you can see, it's now settling on the distilled wash. It just said it was floating on the original high pH. So I'm going to drain this down here for a second. Okay, this gives you a very good idea. As you can see what's left. That was floating on the top of my Ormus batch. And that's supposed to be very, very good Ormus. And so I'm going to consume that and I'll let you know how to make it with it. It looks really good. Okay, so now we're at the very end of the first rinse. And now you can get an idea of what it looks like at the end of the first rinse. Looking good. Now I'm going to drain that water off. You can still see there's a little bit of sediment in there, nothing major. And we're going to drain that off and get it as low as possible, and we're going to rinse it a second time. You have to do a total of 3 rinses altogether. Hi everyone, this is the very end of my second rinse. As you can see, the water is nice and clear. It's, of course, this is a curved bottom, so it might look a little more than what it actually is. See if I can get a better... there we go. So that's exactly how much I have. And I'm going to rinse it one more time and then we're good to go. Okay, so we're now finished the third wash, and you can get an idea of how nice and clean and white your precipitate is down there. It looks really, really, really good. And now I'm just going to take this down as low as possible, and then I'm going to try to get as much water out there, and that's my precipitate that I will end up consuming. And I'll show you the final step in a minute. Okay everyone, we are finished. This gives you an idea of the Ormus that's left. I don't dare take any more water out than that because I'll start getting the Ormus. As you can see that. It's a little bit off color when it's mixed in. It doesn't make a lot, but that would be enough for probably 3 to 4 days at a teaspoon per day. And that's all there is to it. As you can see, it makes about probably, I would say about 4 to 5 teaspoons. Maybe a little more. And that's all I can show you. I hope you have fun trying to make your Ormus. Take care. Bye.